In this video, I discuss how to go from zero at middle age to having over $1 million tax-free by the time you retire. Coming up next on Holy Schmidt.
Holy Schmidt!
One of the biggest challenges people have when they fund retirement isn't having the money to fund retirement. I'm going to show you how to do that for about $20 a day starting at age 40. It's having a plan and a reasonable amount of time for your investments to grow. More importantly, it's actioning that plan, because I can tell you that most people, maybe even somebody you know personally, has the plan to go from where they are today to where they need to be when they retire, but they just haven't gotten to it. They have the mañana syndrome. I'm going to get to it mañana. By the way, actioning the plan is by far the #1 challenge facing most people when they think about their retirement. So let's talk about the mindset that people face into when they are looking to retire. At age 20, or early 20s anyway, people have a tendency to think that retirement is for their parents. It's something that isn't even on the radar for most of them, unless they've been educated from a very young age that this is something you need to deal into ASAP. If they were fortunate enough to have that happen, a modest amount of money could grow into a mountain of wealth when they retire. Unfortunately, that rarely happens. By age 30, people tend to think about retirement, and it's something that's going to happen in the distant future, probably something that they need to think about, probably something that they need to do something about, but not today, and not tomorrow, and maybe not even this year or this decade for a lot of people. But by this time someone turns 40, retirement is something that is front of mind for many people. And it's at this point in time people have that oh shoot moment and they start to scramble. Don't worry, it's far from over, and in just a minute I'm going to show you how to start late and finish strong. Before I do, please make sure you click subscribe and notifications so that you get alerted the next time I post a video. I post about twice a week. If you're watching this video right now, there are 3 things I know about you, probably. The first is that you are thinking about retirement in a big way. The second is that you probably feel that you're not where you should be when it comes to your retirement investments and savings. Third is that you're looking for some sort of shortcut to catch up, or at least clarity on what to do to catch up. Well, this is what's called a good news, bad news situation. The good news is that if you have a plan and you action that plan, you're probably going to be just fine. You might even do really well. The bad news is that if you're like most people, you'll take in the information and won't do anything with it. And then you'll think about it again in a year or two, and you'll think, I should do something here. And eventually, the pressure will become so big that you'll do something. But by doing it now instead of 2, 3, 4, 5 years from now, you're going to be a heck of a lot better off. And I would be remiss if I didn't point out that time is not on your side here. You have to act now in order to make this work, at least with modest dollars. Let me explain what I mean. This is super important. People don't think about time when they think about investment. They think about the amount of money that they're putting in, and they think about the return that they're getting. Time is this invisible force that they have had plenty of their entire life, and at some point, probably in their middle ages, they start to realize that time does have an endpoint. Now, what does this all mean? Many of you have heard me talk about the rule of 72. 72 divided by the return is the number of years it takes to double an investment. So, for example, if you had a stock market index fund and it returned 10% a year, you divide 72 by 10 and it doubles every 7.2 years. If you wait 3 years, you miss half, just under half of doubling time. So time is super important. In fact, everything you need to know outside of the actual investment itself about investing comes down to understanding time, contribution, and return. If you have more of one, you need less of the other, and vice versa. Now, it's this last point, return, that gets most people caught out. They think the higher the return, the easier it will be to catch up. And so they bet the farm on something and they lose all their money. Markets are fickle, and over the long run, they have a tendency to move up, but any single investment in any single year, markets move up and down. And that's without somebody actually trying to take your money from you. There are a lot of scammers out there. In fact, I'm going to read you one and show you one that happened in the comment section of my channel here. Importantly, this is pretty typical. You'll see it on a lot of comment sections on a lot of channels. Watch out for it. It is a scam. By the way, I've taken off the last names of the people in what I'm going to show you because the actors here more than likely lifted the name and the image from somebody else. All right, take a look at what's going on here. Johnny posts, the economic hardship, recession, unemployment, and the loss of job caused by COVID pandemic is enough to push people into financial ventures. First of all, it doesn't sound like the proper syntax. It's probably somebody who is not from the United States. Blue then says, caused by the government overreaction to COVID. What they're trying to do here is tug on the heartstrings of a particular type of person. Jacob comes across and he says, the kind of information that we don't get from most YouTubers, trying to imply that what comes next is more valuable. Secret information, in fact, that most people can't get out there in the real world. Ivy then says, count me in. I'm placing my trades with expert Benjamin Blank, ASAP. Now, they've given the name and they want you to go on your search engine and Google that name. After watching several YouTube tutorial videos about trading, I was still making losses until Mrs. Benjamin started managing my investment. Now I make $10,567 weekly. This is a promise of big success, a number that would be enviable in retirement. And only Mrs. Benjamin is the person that can help this poor individual. Keep in mind that the person's name was Benjamin Blank. Benjamin is a first name of a male, not the last name of a female. Julie says, how do I get connected into this system? Catherine says, my first investment with Benjamin Blank, I earned over $30,000 US. Ever since then, he has been delivering. So all of a sudden, his gender has changed. Graham says, he's obviously the best. Invested 2,000 USD with him, and I made a profit of $9,101 USD. Mares comes across and says, I lost 1,200 pounds, careless trading on a platform. Then I was referred to Mr. Benjamin. Now it's Mr. Benjamin. He recovered the loss and made an extra profit of $4,600. Interesting that he recovered the loss that this person incurred somewhere else. Almost Superman-like. Tanya comes across and says, I did trade it on my own, but it only left in losses chasing market dip. I take that to mean that the person who says that they're Tanya lost money in the market. The next person said, I got Benjamin Blank info. How good is he? And it goes on and on and on. The point is, this is targeted to people that don't have a lot of time, don't have a lot of money to contribute, or if they do, that's everything that they have. And this scam is going to take the money from them because they're promising outsized returns. And oftentimes the target has exercised all of their other options. And so what they need is to swing for the fences. Trust me when I tell you, anytime you see something like that, it is a extremely high risk endeavor, and probably designed to take your money from you, not just take a fee from you. So I'm going to run through an example here. Let's assume that you invest in a Roth IRA. A Roth IRA is a tax-free investment vehicle. You put after-tax dollars in there, and what you receive back in retirement is a tax-free return, plus the return of your original investment. So what you see on this schedule is that $20 a day, basically $6,000 a year, is the contribution amount you're going to make into a Roth IRA. If you put that into an S&P 500 index fund, which has historically returned about 10.9% per year, that $6,000 would be worth $79,697 over the course of 25 years. You can see how that would happen using the rule of 72. If you put $6,000 in at age 40, through a series of doubling, by the time you hit 65, that could and would be approximately $79,000 using a market return of 10.9%. That's the S&P 500 index historic return. At age 41, you have 1 year less, so that same 6,000 becomes 71,863. Now you'll see here at age 42 the deposit is 7,000. The reason is that historically the IRA limits have been raised by about 1,000 a year every 3 to 5 years. So from ages 42 through 45, the deposit is 7,000. Ages 46 through 49, the deposit is 8,000. By the time you hit 50, it's 9,000. But you also see that at age 50, the government allows you to deposit an extra $1,000 per year. It could be more in 10 years, but assuming you use today's age-based adjustment, you get an extra 1,000. So you deposit 10,000, and that goes all the way through age 53, 11,000 from 54 through age 57, 12,000 from age 58 through 62, and then 13,000 when you're 63, 64, and 65. The bottom line is that you have $1,035,427 tax-free to use in retirement if you deposit this amount in a Roth IRA. But you need to start early. You probably should start now. If you need some additional help, talk to a fee-only financial planner, not one that receives a percentage of your portfolio value, but one that charges you a flat fee. And they should be able to point you in the right direction. If you like this video, please make sure you click subscribe and notifications so that you get alerted the next time I post a video. Retirement information is changing fast, and I work hard to get what's out there in here for you. This is Jeff Schmidt. Thanks for watching.